It's Clark and Perry on the case. Da-na-na-na. Clark and Perry.
Do what it takes.
Da-na-na-na. Clark and Perry. Investigate.
The activities and interests of local artists in the Windy City's finest throughout both Lethbridge and Medicine Hat, Alberta. Available on TELUS, Optic TV, On Demand, VidFlex, YouTube, and more for limited time only. Terms and conditions apply.
Da-na-na-na.
So I guess kind of going back to strictly illustration, when was the time that you started actually illustrating onto a 3D object like clay?
September 2021.
Nice.
I'd never touched clay before.
No, okay. And so basically as soon as you realized...
As soon as I made a friend, a very, very amazing friend.
Yeah.
We met through our dogs. We went for coffee, and I said, hey, you're a potter. I actually had purchased pottery from her and then helped her find a dog through Instagram. And she, once she got her puppy, I brought Huck and we had a little puppy play date. And I said, you're a potter, so I have to tell you how excited I am I signed up for a pottery class. And she goes, oh, you want to do pottery? Well, come over.
Yeah.
She literally spent a year teaching me, like right next to me.
Wow.
She's amazing. She taught me so much.
Yeah.
I struggle to learn.
Yeah.
I need like one-on-one, like...
Yeah.
And
this type of mentorship.
I could not have possibly imagined... I don't know. Had I simply taken a group class, I never would have thought I could do what I can do. But I don't have words to explain how grateful I am to her for that mentorship.
Yeah.
And she's brilliant. She's only been a potter for about 3 years longer than I have, but she's very, very good and very similar to me in the like, she's gonna go do it until she figures out how. And anyway, I spent like an entire year at her house multiple times a week. I'm,
just learning, just diving into the craft.
And she, I don't knock. The dogs know me. She feeds me if I'm throwing, and she knows I haven't eaten.
It's gonna be another 8-hour session. Here we go.
Yeah, she literally would like bring me a plate of cheese and be like, "Eat something." I'm just like throwing, and right in her home, like I don't know. Yeah, it was amazing. It's amazing.
You definitely need folks in your corner like that as well.
Yeah, she changed my life completely. I'm so grateful.
Yeah. And again, I find it just such a neat way to find a discovery as well too, to kind of take that extra step to elevate an artistry practice or something like that as well too. No, I find that very interesting. I'd love to get the chance to see it sometime. But actually, I think we have a few examples here that we can kind of show off, do we not?
Of pottery or
like illustrated pottery?
Yeah, absolutely.
We have some magnets or something around
here. Yep. I can grab.
Yeah, no, we just wanted to grab a couple examples. We'll be showing this off and here the illustrative feature as well too. But yeah, just something visual for people to kind of take a look at. So all of this was taking out the negative space and all that as well too. Very lovely work. Very nice.
Featuring dogs, of course.
Yeah, of course. Taking the inspiration from your everyday life.
You see
as
the theme here?
I think I'm recognizing something here. No, that's lovely. Well, I kind of wanted to take it a little bit back as well too. I asked you before, what do you need more of in your life? And you said balance, which is I feel like a lot of people could definitely help out with that. To go back and in contrast to that question, what do you need less of in your life? Questions that definitely make you say,
Capitalism.
Yes. Yes.
But I did it.
Yeah.
I was a commercial artist for 10 years.
That's right.
And I loved my work.
Yeah.
I helped businesses grow. I did branding and I did property stuff and I did business portraits and I loved it. I loved my clients and I loved my job and I loved using my skills, but my heart
just wasn't into it.
Something just wasn't quite, I wasn't making my art.
Yeah.
I was using my art as a way to make money for people.
Yeah.
And hey, good for them for hiring small business artists.
Yes.
Forever grateful.
Yeah.
But something was, first of all, I was working like 18 hours a day,
Mm-hmm.
and I was burning out constantly,
Mm-hmm.
and I loved it, but I had to take a step back because something wasn't quite right.
Yeah.
And I did.
Mm-hmm.
I moved cities, and I stopped working with all of the clients that I had, and I took a bit of a hiatus.
Yep.
And then we had a pandemic.
Yeah.
Like
Perfect
immediately.
timing. Perfect timing, right? To finish all that, and then
Yeah. So then it got a bit scary because I was like, oh shoot, what am I going to do now?
Yeah.
But then that happened, and then I bought my iPad and spent an entire several years drawing intensely and learning that tool. And then halfway through that, I started learning pottery, and now I am in the best place I've ever been in because I have less capitalism in my life.
Yeah.
I mean, I still do, like, I'm still making products to sell to people, but I'm doing what I'm passionate about instead of being part of that grind that
rather than being that cog in the wheel, you are the driver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Precisely. I'm doing what I'm passionate about. I'm making art, and people can buy it if they want. I'm not making art because people are telling me to.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
No, I think that's very important. You're kind of doing it for yourself.
Yes.
And anybody else that wants to get on board can.
Yeah, exactly. And there's no pressure.
Matter. Yeah.
I don't make stuff because I'm asked to anymore, and my life is so great because of it.
Yeah. No, that's lovely. That's lovely. Perfect. So I had a question in my brain, but I totally lost it. But the next one I had as well too is that are there any favorite movies or television shows that you've watched that help inspire anything that comes out? Or
well, not to sound stereotypical, but literally anything Wes Anderson is brilliant. Like, I mean, I used to work at a newspaper, and this girl that I work with, she gave me this DVD, and she's like, "Go home and watch this." And it was the Royal Tenenbaums, and I was like, what is this? Who made this? And then I came back and I was like, how have I never heard of this before?
Yeah.
And then another dude that I worked with gave me a stack of them this big, and I literally did not give them back to him until I quit my job there, because I just watched them over and over and over and over again.
As much as you can, learning all the lines.
Well, just the amount of intention behind every single thing he does.
Yeah.
There's nothing like commercial or sexualized or anything like that. It's just art for the sake of art. There's like no point behind any of it. It's just art. And I love it so much. So yes, Wes Anderson is
definitely
not overrated.
That is definitely a key inspiration for sure. Oh, that's lovely. I remember now what I was going to ask as well too. Sorry, it was about you kind of getting away from your job and going through COVID and all that stuff too. It's more vague question, not specific to that time. But when things did get tough, how did you cope?
It was very hard.
Yeah.
Well, my dogs.
Yeah.
That's when I got my dogs. And they gave me purpose. And they gave me something else to learn. I didn't know how to take care of dogs, but I learned. And I actually, they have like, I posted on their Instagram. I use my photography to first for training them, because I trained them to cooperate for Instagram, and then they got all these, I don't know, Instagram went through this weird thing during COVID,
right,
where all these small businesses popped up, because it was like lots of people who normally would be at the office, or when they're not working, they'd go on vacation. They're like, I'm gonna start sewing bandanas for dogs. And then they're like, how do we advertise? Well, let's send free ones to our friends. So we signed all these like partnerships with them, and then I'd basically do, they'd send, there's this great business, and she'd send me a ton of dog treats, and then I'd take videos and stuff. I did a ton of that with the dogs, and it was great because it trained them, and honestly, it gave me so much purpose, and it kept me creative in a way that I wasn't being otherwise. And I think it probably saved my life. So
So it's definitely, again, it's kind of having something else to focus on. And finding those
and
ends.
finding purpose and creativity
Yeah.
is important.
Yeah. And whatever that means to other people too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, kind of diving a little bit further in to no, that's not what I meant to say. Kind of moving on to our list of
Okay.
questions as well too. Who would you describe that you're most like in your family?
Probably my sister.
Yeah, your sister.
Yeah, my sister's great.
Yeah.
We have so much in common.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is an avid like quilter.
Mm-hmm.
So I ask her quilt questions and annoy the heck out of her because I do quilting.
Oh, okay.
And she's extremely creative, and we did the stained glass thing together.
Yeah.
She texted me one morning and was like, I had a dream last night that you and I just like ordered everything we need to learn stained glass, and then we just did it. And I was like, well, let's do it. So we both invested in these huge stained glass just studios, and then we realized it was really hard to make. And not that we don't want to make it, but you can't sell it for anything near what it's worth.
Yeah.
So it was too expensive of a hobby to keep up.
Yeah.
And she still does glass.
Yep.
Me, not so much. I didn't like having my hands cut up all the time.
Yeah.
And I didn't like the chemicals.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that my dogs couldn't sit beside me while I did it because it was dangerous for them.
It's very hot and working with.
Well, glass blowing is really hot, but stained glass is more like there's shards of glass everywhere because you're grinding it and cutting it, and they could cut their paws or get it in their fur.
That's fair, yeah.
I'd be like sweating, and then I'd go to like wipe my forehead and have like scratches across my forehead from all the shards of glass. And I'm just like, it's just a bit much for me.
Yeah, that's not for me.
I want to be comfortable.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair.
But yeah, my sister's awesome, and I have like my aunt, my dad's sister, is a extremely accomplished quilter, and she was inspiration for my sister. And then my grandmother, my dad's mom, was also just like knitting and sewing, and lots of it started in textiles with them.
No, that's awesome.
But yeah, my sister and I have a lot in common. She's a member of the pottery studio as well, and she got into drawing when, like, on the iPad. She got her own just this year.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet. So you're able to kind of, like, what I do compliment about Medicine Hat is that it just seems to be a central hub of just so much going on. Like, there's definitely lots of different practices as well.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about combining, similar to pottery, combining illustration with your sewing or quilting?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. I've done fabric design.
Oh,
with illustration, yeah.
That's
so,
amazing.
I mean, I just wanted to learn how to do it, because to make a continuous pattern, you have to, it's a bit tricky. I learned how to do fabric design, and then I can print on demand through a business. And so I put them up there, and then people started buying them, and I was like, oh. So I did this one. They have prompts that'll be like, design contest, do, what's the word? There's a word for like Sasquatch and mermaids and all that stuff.
Fantastical creatures?
Yeah, there's a very specific word. I forget what it is, but I was like, okay. So I did this design, and it's like a Sasquatch or a Bigfoot, and he's fishing and camping, and there's campfires, and I didn't place anywhere near. I was like number 600th, but because I entered in the contest, people saw it, and then people started buying it as wallpaper and fabric. So I have no idea where or who, but somebody bought like enough wallpaper that I'm pretty sure there's like someone's whole basement is covered in this Bigfoot wallpaper that I made.
I'm going to find him.
Right? So yeah, I absolutely
that's so funny.
Combined them.
No, that's good. That's good. That's good to know that it's not just specific to a certain medium. Oh, and we have some viewers again.
Sarah's over there.
Oh, and we that's amazing.
Hello. Sarah.
Hello.
Sarah.
Oh, that's lovely. I'm sure that they'll be able to be let back in.
Yeah, they're enjoying
once we
themselves.
Get to the next session too. No, that's excellent. That's good to know that it doesn't just like expand only to pottery, but it also kind of expands out to other mediums
it's
too.
Definitely like the common denominator in everything I do.
Yeah. So, I guess my next question, and on a different topic as well too, is that if you were to meet anybody, alive or deceased, who would it be?
Okay.
Okay.
Funny story.
All right.
Three
We're
of
here for
my very best friends
Yeah.
are on the internet, and we met online because of our dogs, and we share all of our dog information, and one of them
Yeah.
lives in Ottawa, and one of them lives in Nova Scotia, and one of them lives in Newfoundland, and the three of us talk every single day and send dog pictures back and forth, and we know so much about each other, and if I'm going to be completely honest, it's them.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I would absolutely love for them. We'd all be terrified of each other in real life.
Yeah.
But once we got past that part,
a lot of more people are more bolder in in online interactions than
Yeah.
in life. That's totally understandable.
it'd probably be weird, but I'd
Yeah.
still want to. I'd still want to do it.
But that'd be lovely to have like a nice little collective dog date type
yeah,
thing.
yeah. Well, our dogs probably wouldn't even get along, but
Yeah.
but yeah, some of them would. There's
Yeah.
a wiener dog in Newfoundland that would get very, very loud
Yeah.
if she met us.
Yeah.
We share when we have struggles with our dogs. We'll like ask advice or
Mhm.
triumphs, and like dog ownership's a lot.
Yeah.
People think we're a bit nuts, but
Yeah.
we love our dogs a lot,
Yeah.
and we want the best for them. And having a community of dog owners it's been pretty life-changing as well. Yeah.
Oh, that's very interesting. I'm wanting to dive a little bit deeper into the glass making as well too. So initially, like, when did you first try this out?
2020, I think September 2020
2020,
or 2019 maybe.
2019.
Yes, pre-COVID.
Okay,
Yeah,
interesting.
right after I moved to Medicine Hat.
Right. So when you try out another medium, are you looking to try to combine other mediums or artistic mediums? Like, for example, what I'm asking more specifically is when you tried to first get into glass dyeing, shaping, what was it called again?
We cut it, and you basically start with sheets of glass.
Yeah.
And then you design a pattern, so then you cut shapes out.
Right. Gotcha.
And then you solder them back together into the puzzle that you've created.
That makes sense. No, okay.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of ignorance on my part right there, not knowing how it connects to illustration as well too.
Yeah,
but, But I guess, sorry. So backtracking and going with a different question. What is your experience when it came to the digital format versus the freehand, like on sheet and paper? What would you say are kind of the pros and cons to each?
Well, the pros of an iPad are that if I draw with a line and hold my pencil down, it makes it straight.
Nice.
And if I want to try something, I can try it, and if I don't like it, take it away.
Yeah.
So there's a million pros to digital. And I think one of the pros to drawing on paper is that I can do it without the iPad. It's a skill that not everyone has developed because of things like iPads.
Yeah, that's right.
So I learned everything by hand. I draw on everything I owned. I had to figure it out on my own. I didn't have those tools. So it's not something everyone can do.
Yeah.
And that's part of what makes me able to do it here, when someone who's an illustration artist only may not be able to transfer those skills over.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense.
So
too.
yeah, drawing on paper has few like technical pros for like it's faster or it's easier or it's fun for sure. Like I studied art. So I did drawing classes where we'd have models and you have to draw fast. You have 15 seconds before they move, and so much fun.
Yeah.
But it's definitely like I moved over to digital almost by force. Like I couldn't sell stuff enough. Like I couldn't make a career.
Yeah. There's a lot of quality of life situations that happen on the digital format rather than just the in hand. But I think I'm picking up what you're saying as well too. It's like when you're driving, when you first start driving, it may technically be better to drive stick first before an automatic.
Exactly.
Just because that teaches you more skills more practically that may be able to be transferable somewhere else.
Learn to shoot analog before you shoot digital.
Yeah.
Learn to fire the gas kiln, not just the electric one.
Yes.
Learn the fundamentals of what you're going to do. Know the rules before you break them.
Yeah.
Like there's so much to be said about the foundations of everything.
Yeah.
And when you skip those steps, I mean, it might work out. It probably will. but I don't want to.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot
I
of
really
sense.
value all of the work that went into all this stuff. If I just hop on the train at the end, I don't acknowledge all the people who have built the art world that we live in right now.
Yeah,
We wouldn't have electric kilns if people weren't wood firing years ago.
right. Yeah, exactly.
We wouldn't have digital cameras if someone hadn't figured out how to develop film and
yeah.
and you know, like you gotta pay respect to all of
Mhm,
that
mhm.
and not just
Well, also it's important to understand
absolutely
where
the
roots-
fundamentals.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that you can also apply it somewhere else and almost appreciate the quality of life aspects when it comes to
Yes.
easier formats.
Yeah.
As well. No, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So you mentioned as well that you went to school for art. As
I
well
did,
too.
yeah.
Where was that out? Do you
Here,
mind?
actually, in Medicine Hat. I have a
Okay.
bachelor's degree of applied arts in
Excellent.
visual communications.
Yeah.
So my program was based on becoming so I'm actually also a graphic designer,
Excellent.
right?
Very
So
well rounded, like I said.
yeah, so I did a program that did 6 in-class semesters and 2 work terms.
Okay.
And we studied fundamentals, we studied basic 3D, 2D fundamentals, and then you could sort of pick, do you want to do graphic design, do you want to do videography, do you want to do photography, do you want to do painting, or
Right.
like some people would do a 2-year program and then they would take the education route after.
Yeah.
I did the 4-year program and did internships with photography with commercial photographers.
Right.
And I learned so much. I did 2 internships in Regina
Mm-hmm.
for 2 extremely skilled photographers. I was so lucky. I could have ended up taking an internship from someone who didn't know anything, because there's a lot of photographers who don't.
Yeah.
And you don't have to anymore
Yeah.
because the tools do it all for you, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So I feel I'm just so lucky or
Mhm.
privileged or
Mhm.
whatever to have found the mentors in life that I have.
Yeah.
And I worked really hard to take advantage of that
Yeah.
opportunity and learn everything I could.
What would you say were those key skills that they did teach you?
With photography,
Yeah. Yeah.
how to shoot in any conditions. So I worked for this guy, and he's a commercial photographer, but he's also a storm hunter.
Yeah.
And he basically pulled me into his office, which was in the middle of a building.
Mhm.
He gave me a camera and said, "Okay, expose the photo." And I exposed it. And then he turned off the light, and then he said, "Expose the photo." And I exposed it. And then he opened the curtains in his window and let some light in. Turn the light on, open the door, close the curtains, open it all up. And he would make me expose the photo as fast as I could
Yeah.
without losing the quality. Why is your ISO so high? You're losing quality. You could be. He taught us how to balance it, how to actually use the science behind the camera,
Right.
as opposed to just.
Yeah.
So we understood how the technical parts of the camera worked,
Okay.
as opposed to just, in school we learned more like, take a photo that's inspired by this master artist, and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, so you're working on composition and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Whereas I got to learn the technical stuff.
Mhm.
That was hard.
Yeah.
And I'm not a science and math person,
But that stuff is just as equally as important, if not more.
very
important.
much more important, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
My creativity is fun, but that taught me not only how to use my camera, but to do that when I learn things.
Yeah.
Because it gives me the power to take them as far as I can with my creativity. So I value those experiences immensely.
Yeah. No, that's very good. I'm sure our viewers appreciate you sharing that, just like we do too. So, okay. Well, I think we're getting pretty close to time as well too. So to kind of close us off, what would you say are your biggest 3 pieces of advice that you've been given or can give?
If you're passionate about it, do it.
If you're passionate about it, do it.
Cut your distractions. Turn off your phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Turn off your phone. Turn off your internet. Make art.
Yeah.
Make it not because you want to make money from it or you want to make it for someone. Make it because you're passionate about it.
Yeah.
And make it how you want to make it.
Yeah.
Don't make it for your audience. Make it for yourself, and your audience will come.
If you're passionate about it, do it.
Yeah.
Eliminate distractions and do you, basically. Just make sure it's true to you. Only do it for you as well too. Okay. Thank you so much, folks. We'll be back in just a quick bit.
It's Clark and Perry on the case. Da-na-na-na, Clark and Perry.
Do what it takes to
Da-na-na-na, Clark and Perry.
investigate.
The activities and interests of local artists in the Windy City's finest throughout both Lethbridge and Medicine Hat, Alberta. Available on TELUS, Optic TV, On Demand, VidFlex, YouTube, and more for limited time only. Terms and conditions apply.
Da-na-na-na,